Right, so today let's talk about bullying. I remember being bullied as a child, both in my neighborhood and in school. So this is a call to let you know that bullying can happen anywhere, not necessarily in school alone. Yeah, so today's video is about how parents can deal with bullying. If your child ever had complained to you about experiencing bullying, what bullying is when a child experiences being physically abused and verbally abused by people of their peer, or being in a place where they're constantly being talked down on or laughed about something about their body. It could be their eye, it could be their nose, it could be a body feature. For me, I remember that as a child, I started growing my boobs really early, and so I had loads of people kind of talk down on me and maybe feel like I was already engaged in sexual activity, and I found that really not nice, and I experienced that as a young person. So today, I want to address it, how parents can deal with it. What should you do if your child ever is bullied? I'm going to share with you 3 things that you should do and 3 things that you shouldn't do if your child ever is bullied. The 3 things that you can do when your child is being bullied is: number 1, you need to listen to understand if your child ever summons up the courage to share with you those challenges. I think I do remember sharing my experience with my parents, and I remember them listening and trying as much as possible to reassure me that I was okay and it was okay to have that feature on my body, because that was what I was constantly being bullied about. So you must listen to understand, not listen to respond. I know that there are lots of emotions attached to it because you think about your own childhood. Probably you had experienced being bullied and all of that, but you need to listen and reassure your child that everything is going to be okay. The second thing is to involve your child, but ask them how they want the situation to be handled. Ask them how they think that kind of what you want to do about that situation would help. Let them be involved. Kind of, they probably have an idea of what is best, right? Which I'm going to share in the other points where I say don't do this, because sometimes your child don't want you to stand up and jump and come to school and start screaming, because it might lead to more bullying and lead to them feeling more afraid to deal with the people around them. So ask them how they want that situation to be handled. The third thing you might want to do is to constantly reassure them, and also in your reassuring, you want to let them know that the person who is bullying them is not their fault that they're being bullied. It's not them. It's not about them that they're suffering this bullying. It is on the person's personalities, because the person doesn't think too well of themselves. That's why they can also stand up and bully others. People bullying people are not, it's not that they are doing the right thing. You need to make them understand that when someone says a negative thing about you, doesn't mean that it is true. Your job there now is to let them understand the true state of things, because a bully is not showing the true state of things. They are just there to puncture and make this person feel bad about themselves, and that's because they come from a probably a negative background, or a background where they are probably also being constantly bullied, or they're experiencing bullying around that environment, or someone is doing something that they are picking on, because bullies are picking negative things around them and now doing it back to the other person. So you need to make them understand that there's a normal and an abnormal situation, and it's the abnormal situation that they are experiencing right now. It's not the right thing. So your job is to reassure them that it's not their fault. Yes, that's what you should do as a parent. Now let's talk about what you shouldn't do. I know emotions are all involved and everything. You're thinking, oh, I suffered this as a child. Why is my own child going through this? You want to stand up and go and fight. You know that, emotions, expression that you want to express. But that's not the best thing. You don't want to go to school and start creating a scene, or start making it look like, oh, there is you're not going to add more negative situations to the already existing negative situation. So you could talk to the school authority. Don't go and start trying to ask to see the parents of the person who bullied. It's going to create more fuse, and it's going to create more negative energy. So as a parent, your job is not to go back and start bringing in more negative energy into that space and putting your child at risk of being more bullied in school, because that's definitely going to set them up, and your child does not want that, noise around them at that time. The last thing a bully wants is the noise around them at that time. So yeah, the next thing that you should never do, I know it is tempting. I know we are tempted to always want to give back the energy. I hear people say, give back the same energy. You know, the last thing you should tell your child is to hit back a bully or to give back, use the verbal abuse or physically abuse other people when they're being abused, because you are definitely going to turn them into who they are not. Your job is to raise a healthy child. I know it's difficult, but your role at that time is to show them, to model for them and show them what is expected of them when they face this kind of situation. Because truth is, they're going to have their own children, and you want them to also express the same way that you showed them at the time where they were children. So don't ever be tempted to tell them to say, hit them back. I hear some parents say that, is he not younger than you? You're even older. No, don't try to make them do what they are being. No, it's difficult. It's going to be difficult, but that's the right thing, because you're modeling positivity, modeling the what we are expecting in a society at this time where we have healthy behaviors, or we have healthy humans. So your job is to let them know that they should not hit back or verbally abuse back, but disengage themselves from kind of remove themselves from that situation and report to the right authorities. And which leads me to the third point: don't ever dismiss your child when they come to tell you that they are being bullied, or they are being verbally abused, or they are being physically abused, or someone is touching them inappropriately. Because I know that parents of these days probably don't do that, but I had a friend who suffered that. Her lesson teacher was abusing her, and she reported to her mother. Her mother didn't believe her. So don't ever be dismissal, or don't ever say, look at you, you're being bullied. Don't be that parent. You're tempted to want to, because we're human beings. Because, parents say things like, a lion does not give birth to a chicken. You cannot be chickening now. Don't be a chicken. No, because the truth is, you can be in your best behavior. You can even be confident, but you've never really been in that situation, and you don't know how to deal with this. Your child doesn't have has a different developmental capacity at different stages of their lives, so they've never really experienced a particular thing, so they might not know how best to react. And you don't want to raise a violent child. You don't also want to raise a verbally abusive child. You don't want to also raise a bully, right? You want to raise a child who is tolerant of the people around them. You want to raise a child who is kind. You want to raise a child who is loving. You want to raise a child who is patient, who is understanding, who knows emotional intelligence on how to manage and live life around other people. You need to use that situation to model that. And that is why I wrote the book Understanding Child Caregiving, where parents can take advantage of situations and parent their children. I'm not saying that bullying is it, but when things happen, parents need to take advantage of those situations and parent their children in the way, especially when your child is still under 9, under 8. You have the chance to model their minds to be healthy. I mean, you have the chance to model their experiences to be healthy, so that they can in turn become healthy adults, for the society that we live in. I want to encourage you as a parent, never ever think that you are alone. We have support communities that you can join. If you click the link in our bio, you can join the support communities for free. You can also purchase our resources in the link in our bio. Purchase them and see how you can spend time reading and using these resources to improve your overall parenting experiences. If you are watching this on YouTube, you click the link in my description. You'll be able to find access to all the resources. Until I come your way again, I hope you have learned on how to deal with bullying as a parent. I'll see you on the next. Bye.